This week on the Million Dollar Plan, we talked to a very nice lady in her mid-30s who wants to try to do everything at once. I know, Lynette, how about that for an intro? So I read your email and I thought, wow, why don't we just do everything at the same time?
Yeah, that's my thought.
So you've got a great financial life going. Things are going so well. So some disruption is about to take place, and our job is to see which of those disruptions make sense, which are actually not disruptions, but just sort of temporary changes. So help us understand your life. You're 34 years old. There are other people involved.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yeah. So, well, thanks for calling me a lady. I don't think
sure.
anyone's ever called me a lady.
What should I call you? I always get confused. Like, here's the thing, and thanks for bringing this up. Like, I always want to call like a woman that is my age or younger a girl. Like, oh, I girls.
Yeah.
But that seems insulting, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
woman was weird. It was like, hey,
yeah,
woman.
it's a little medical, right?
Yeah.
Female.
Female.
Yeah.
No, gal. Maybe call you a gal.
Yeah.
No, that's
I don't know. All the options have the potential of just being kind of condescending. So
I can't win.
I'm
totally.
A tough one.
All right, so we are
human,
gender neutral show. We are gender neutral. So
Great.
We have a person in her 30s.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Go.
Yeah. So in my 30s, my husband's also in his 30s. We have a toddler who's almost 2. We're about to move. I'm thinking about going back to school, just everything. And also, I'm super anxious. That's why I'm calling. I need some comfort.
We call you
anxious.
a box number 2 person around here. Not number 2 as in, here's how it works. There are 4 boxes, okay? There's box 2 is people who are doing well, but suffer anxiety in spite of doing well. That's you.
Even that definition is calming to me.
It's calming? Really?
Yeah.
Because
it's hard to know if you're doing well. So when my daughter was born, I got a little obsessive about financial planning and just organizing our life in general.
Sure.
And then in that process, I started listening to like all these podcasts and radio shows, reading all these books. And, one of the problems with that is that like a lot of the hosts are like, yeah, I'm 25. My net worth is $1.3 million.
That's just dumb,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's super stressful because then you think, well, no matter how much I do at this point, I'm 34. I can't right the ship. I'm not there at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're not wanting to retire at 40 though, right?
No.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, I mean you're fine. Like so, let's go through it. You got how many people are working? You got 100,000 household income. How many people are working there?
Yeah, that's not really accurate. So because we're in the process of moving.
Okay.
So I quit my job about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm retaining a little part of my contract. So that's not including my income. That's just my husband's income.
Okay. So,
because I'm not sure how much I will be working.
Okay, so 100,000, that's your husband's income.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you quit in like a very millennial way? I know you're right on the borderline at 34. Did you like write a blog post about your quitting or no?
No, not at all. I cried because I love my job.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, it's okay, darling. See there again, the gender stuff.
I just did the thing I hate to do. I hate to throw millennials under the bus. That wasn't fair. So I'd like to apologize to my millennial listener. And I'll write a blog post apology. Yeah, they're just one. It's just one. It's my cousin.
Okay.
Okay, so 100,000. What was your income before you quit?
So it's been, everything in our life has been a little bit fluctuating the last few years because we moved 3 years ago, had a baby 2 years ago.
Okay.
And since then, I would say that like last year I probably made maybe 35,000 working part-time.
Okay.
Like a third, like 15 hours a week.
Sure. So, okay, so you're moving again though. You quit your job so you guys can move. Are you moving to a house that you're going to buy? Like where are you at there?
Yeah, so the tough thing, and maybe you can give me some input on this, but we tend to be moving every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I think that would slow down sometime. And so far, the houses that we've bought individually and together, we've done well on them, and the market has been friendly to us
Sure.
at the times that we've been selling and buying. So,
What's up with that? Why are you moving every 3 to 4 years? Are you like,
What's up with that?
are you running from like like you kill a neighbor and then you're like, we should probably split?
Yeah, I must be. I think both my husband and I, he's worked for the same company for 11 years now, which is very non-millennial of him. He's a little bit outside that definition anyway. But we both like a lot of variety and change in our life. We've both lived overseas. We've both lived in about 5 states each. So we just like change. But we're trying to do it in a way where, again, we're keeping kind of financial basics stable. So within his company, he's been able to move, the last couple of times that we've moved. And I think that will.
And can you say with confidence that each time you've moved, that buying the house in the first place ended up being a good decision, or have you split on that?
No, it has been really good so far. This is the only time that I'm a little concerned about it. Okay. And maybe, again, just because I'm more concerned in general about it.
Well, let's. So the 180,000. Let's take a look. You have 180,000 in long-term savings. Is that right for retirement? 180,000.
That's not right. We have about 225,000.
All right, I will adjust that. 225,000, and then you're putting about $1,300 away a month. Is that accurate?
Yep.
All right, so that makes your $1 million day, which since I had to change the numbers here, the $1 million day is going to be for you July 31st, 2030. At your current pace, July 31st, 2030, you will be a millionaire if nothing else changes. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, at age 67, which is normal retirement age for someone your age, you will, and because I had to change the numbers, you'll have $5.64 million if nothing else changes, with a net monthly retirement income of $13,100 a month, or after tax, and after inflation, so it feels like today, $5,800 a month in today's dollars. I consider that to be pretty solid, given that your take-home pay right now is probably close to $5,800 a month.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep.
So okay, so
that makes me feel great, Pete.
Well, it should. Yeah, your net monthly income's $5,000 right now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so here's where we're going with this. You got a lot of things you want to accomplish. You're going to move. You want to know the right amount of house to buy. You want to know whether you can invest in a law degree. Right.
That's right. That's
right. What do you want to do with a law degree? What do you just like bore your friends? Like what are you hoping to do?
No, I'm going to try not to get too political here, but the last couple of years has made me really appreciate the judicial system.
Okay.
And also, I've been working in career development in my primary career now, and just thinking about how I can best use my skills and what I like to do, which is provide advice and consultation and kind of get expertise and provide expert advice.
So let's just call that is a purpose-driven education decision.
Right.
I like that. I have no beef with that. And you feel like you'll be able to cash flow it?
Yeah. I'd be going to a state school I've already identified in the state we'll be moving to. And because of some other factors, the tuition should be about $10,000 a year for 3 or 4 years. So not too bad for law school.
Jeez, I'll take one of those. Can you get 2 for 1?
Right?
And I'll just
you want to join us?
Let me just tell you this. I would be a terrible law student because they're like, hey, read this. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Is there a podcast I can just listen to?
Right.
By the way, since you're gonna be an attorney, am I getting billed for this call? Like, are you going to send me an invoice for this?
I already did.
Oh my gosh, I knew this was coming. And then there's another factor I read in your email, something else you're trying to accomplish financially, and this is a big one.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we have one child now, and we might like to adopt another child, which, as you know, just has more upfront costs.
Yeah.
Typically. So that's the other thing we're considering. Also, all of this is sort of up in the air. I don't feel like I have to go to law school. I feel like I could keep doing things like I've been doing and be happy and be fine. I don't have to have another kid. We have one healthy, happy kid. Like, what more could I freaking ask for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like anything has to happen.
Yeah, I like this because what we're here from. Okay, I'm going to just talk about numbers as opposed to like being a human for a second. So I'm going to be robotic Peter. as long as you can continue to make prudent decisions long term, then you're fine. So in my opinion, right now, as long as you don't adjust that $1,300 a month that you're setting away for retirement, then do whatever the hell you want to do. Like it doesn't matter. Now, to accomplish this, if you need to back off of that, that's a little bit of a different story. Would you have to back off that $1,300 a month worth of long-term savings?
No, I don't think so, only because in the last maybe the last 2.5 years, we've also paid off about $50,000 in debt. So that now we don't have to do that because we paid all that off.
Yeah.
And I feel like that extra money can go towards some of the stuff that might enrich our lives in this way, you know?
Okay, so what was your house payment prior to move? Well, I guess your payment right now is $840. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
So, are you trying to stay in the same range when you move, or not?
So that one of the things that's difficult about where we're moving this time is that the housing costs are just a little bit more expensive for similar, number of bedrooms, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about maybe something more like $1,100 a month. And so that gives me a little bit of pause.
Well, in relation to what your income is, that's like right on the nose of what you should and could spend based on a $5,000 take-home pay. Like $1,100 is perfect. I mean, it's
okay.
Actually $1,250 would be perfect.
Okay.
So you can go up to that range. But then the issue is, can you still cash flow college or law school? And by the way, even not cash flowing college and taking on a few student loans that then could be paid off relatively quickly isn't a terrible idea.
Okay.
And here's what's crazy. I hate student loans, but given your situation...
I know, Pete. Okay, yeah.
Now look at this. You're forcing me to break your rules. How's this even possible?
Right.
So then there's that. But then the adoption really, I think that's the stinger here. How much do you think an adoption costs?
How much do you think it costs? I have read that it costs about $20,000. We're looking at domestic adoption.
I've seen between 20 and 40. And I've seen 20 and 40 both international, and I've seen a 40 domestic as well. So,
ooh.
I mean, Kanye and Kim are paying a surrogate $45,000 to bear their child. Have you thought about that?
Yeah. But as a percentage of their net worth, that seems completely reasonable.
Right?
Is that weird?
Look, I'm not a celebrity news person. I don't give two rips. But when I saw that, I was like, $45,000?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
That surrogate should have really asked for more. There was more on the table there. I think she left some.
Yeah, here's the thing, and we shouldn't go into this, but at some point they're going to get extorted for more money than that from this person. And no offense, but it's going to happen. Right. It's totally. Anyway, this is incredibly inappropriate. So, okay, you have $25,000 in savings. How is that $25,000 in your savings account affected by the adoption? Do you think it would just take you down to $5,000 then?
I think we could. I guess I hadn't thought about that because I have been thinking about how much of a down payment we might need, depending on what kind of houses are open, because we're still in the process of actively looking at houses in our new location.
How much equity is in your current house?
Yeah, $45,000.
Okay, so would that be enough of a down payment, or would you need to pad it a little bit?
It would, but every $5,000 you add, this.
Well, no, please tell me. This is good.
Yeah.
No, tell my listeners.
I don't really know exactly, but when you run the little mortgage calculators, every time you throw a few more $1,000 in the down payment, it really helps reduce that monthly mortgage cost. Which again, I think we'd probably just use those savings for something like savings or adoption or whatever. So maybe it's all kind of slushy in that way. But yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I think we could use some of that savings toward adoption costs. We have never had to touch our savings ever, and that doesn't mean we won't have to, but we've always kept it really kept it in place.
So what's fascinating about your situation is that you can survive, make good decisions, retire successfully on a $100,000 a year income. $100,000 a year income. So that gives your luxury of another person in your household. That person happens to be you, of course, to I'm about to use the term I hate. Invest in your career by going to law school. It allows you to give a child a home that needs a great home. And so like I don't feel much hesitation here from my perspective. There's a lot going on, but if you take it easy on your house, you're fine. You think you can still cash flow college even if you can't buy a couple $1,000 here or there? I'm fine with it because I assume once you get out, you'll be making at least 30 to 40,000, right?
Yeah, that's my thought. Is that even part time, I could increase what I've been making by maybe $10K to start, $20K in a few years, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny. People talk about how the oversaturation of law degrees and how that affects the marketplace. Number one, you're not trying to go to a big firm.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. And number two, the saturation is a big issue when people have law school debt, right? You're going to come out with little to none, which makes you more flexible to do more interesting things. And it sounds, again, like you're doing this, I would say for the greater good. That's a little carried away, but you're doing this not to make the money of an attorney, but to serve a community that you think is important.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling great, Pete. You want to talk every week? This is really good.
I got nothing to do. So,
right.
Tell me about the debt you paid off. Was that undergrad debt, or what was the $50,000?
Yeah, that was some. That was some lingering undergrad debt for the most part, and then both our cars. I mean, we thought we didn't have much debt, and then we just kind of added it up, and we're pretty surprised that it was $50,000. I mean, that's a chunk. So.
What region of the country do you currently live in?
Right now, we live in the southeast.
Okay. And then if you're watching on PeteThePlanner.tv, my eyes just shot up and to the right like I had to imagine where the southeast was. That was really embarrassing. And then what area do you think you're going to potentially move to?
Yeah, so we'll be moving to the very middle of the country.
Oh, that's fun.
We would say the Midwest, but people here think Ohio when you say Midwest.
Yeah, you know what? I live in the Midwest, of course. But I think I get confused about this. Like, what is the Midwest? I consider it to be Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. But then some people say Michigan and Minneapolis are the Midwest. But I don't know if that's true.
Right. And what about even a little west of that? Is that west then?
Missouri?
Colorado.
Oh, that's west.
West?
Yeah, people have Subaru Outbacks out there. Like, this is all based on the number of Subaru Outbacks in the county seed,
I want that map.
Every time I have someone from Colorado on the podcast, I ask them if they have a Subaru Outback, and 9 out of 10 times they reluctantly say yes. All right, so you're in the southeast. I'm going to guess what car you have. Okay. How old's your toddler's 3?
Yeah, 2.
I'm going to go with a Honda CR-V, and I'm going to go with a Nissan Altima. What do you got?
Oh, my gosh, no. That's interesting choices, though.
Yeah.
So I drive a Honda Civic.
Oh.
And you're close. And my husband drives a, 15-year-old Dodge Dakota.
Oh, he seems manly. Is he manly?
Not really. He's more practical. He grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
He's like farm kid.
Well, that's man. I mean, he's touched a cow's teats. He's a man. Or a pervert or a man. He's one of the two.
A little of both.
Yeah, well,
it's good.
That's good to hear.
That's what I was looking for.
How about life insurance? I'm going to ask. Where are you at there?
Yeah, I think that's okay. That's one of the things on my list after we move to do a little more digging into.
Yeah.
He has about 7 times his income now through work.
Okay.
And I think I'm insured for about 100,000.
Yeah.
So
you could. I mean, he could round up to $1 million. I mean, you could go to 500. I think the key is if the adoption's going to be a thing, then you definitely want to go there. Are you going to adopt a young child, a 30-year-old? Like, what are you adopting? Like, what kind of ages are we thinking here?
Yeah, I'm hoping to adopt a friend. I hadn't thought about that.
That is a great idea.
Could be good age.
Someone that can work.
Right. We would like to have an infant again. That was just a fun process to have a baby. So I think that would be fun. And that's probably our option plan A.
Yeah, you know what? Your situation. I get your anxiety because we're talking about 3 major things: a move, a law degree, an adopted child. But somehow, some way, and that somehow in some way is you and the way you and your husband have chosen to live your life, I think you're going to be able to accomplish all three within that $100,000 constraint on an annual basis. That's pretty remarkable. I'm going to credit that to your diligence in paying off your debt over the last few years, because I think it just develops a certain habit. Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I think so. And I also would credit our parents, without getting too like Oscar speechy here.
No,
but,
please do. Thank all the little people. Go ahead.
Our parents lived very frugally and really worked from like poverty to being able to provide for their kids and for now some of their grandkids. So we've had really good role models of what it means to make and spend and not spend a dollar, and that's been helpful.
What kind of law you got to go into? You got to go into you're not going to go into constitutional law. You got to go into or are you? Human rights law? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple possibilities. I don't know. What do you think, Pete? I've been thinking about elder law or estate planning as an option.
Really? That politically, you clearly have been moved politically, and it's going to go to elder law. That seems a little odd, I'm just going to be honest.
Well, I think more, it's just I appreciate that there's a lot of people running around in society who actually have good knowledge of the judicial system and laws, and they can, I have some attorney friends who donate some of their time to different organizations, so I think it'd be great to be able to do that too.
Yeah.
To do some immigration law or kind of pro bono stuff on the side would be fun. I like working with people and people's life situations, and so I think I would feel like I was being purposeful in any way I was doing that too. So it might seem kind of disparate, but.
And you, and I'm going to have to Google that word later. So you did mention too, you had a question about using a Roth IRA as a funding vehicle for your child's education, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't really know much about college savings and investment plans, so maybe you can educate me a little bit about that. We have been sort of saving for her in an existing Roth that we rolled over from a previous employer, and knowing that we can only take out the original contributions. Yeah. But thinking also, it could be maybe she wouldn't want to go to school. We also move around a lot, so how are like 529s affected by that? That kind of thing. We just don't know.
A Roth, which you have, education is a qualified expense for that, meaning that you're able to use the Roth for that without exception. So that you can use that vehicle and you can use the earnings using the Roth, which is it's a pretty solid backup plan, and I'm using air quotes. You can't see this, but I'm saying it's a backup plan. I think, but depending on what Midwestern state you're moving to, a 529 can make a lot of sense too, because it can have state tax benefits. The issue there, I would say, is if it gets too top heavy, meaning that there's too much money in it, and then your child decides not to go to school, or that they get a scholarship, that the Roth is sort of this better hedge. Well, we could just use it for retirement anyway. But if they don't get a scholarship and they do go to school, and then you use your Roth for that, then that's money you can't use for retirement. So I like to keep them separate. I mean, we've got Roth vehicles when applicable in our household and the times of our lives when we can contribute, and then we've got we continuously contribute to 529 plans. And by the way, when you move, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, state to state. I would just say this. You generally, and this is a big generally, want to contribute to the 529 plan in the state of which you live if there are tax benefits to doing that. And each state is different. So I don't know what the benefits are for you now, but if you're moving, I would look at the next state. So okay, that's good. But what else? I mean, this is I like your situation. I think you should have a lot. I think you should be a box number 1 person, which is cool, calm, and collected, because you've earned the right to be so.
That just made my day, Pete.
Well, every once in a while, I make people happy.
No, it's helpful just to have someone else. Like I said, instead of me listening to a million podcasts and like reading a bunch of articles and wondering like, wow, where should we really be at? It's sort of helpful to just have someone say, yeah, you're on track. Just keep going with this stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant, and I apologize. And this is not going to go well. Here's what happens. Sometimes in personal finance, someone like personally gets out of like a crazy situation. They pay off like $30,000 in debt. And now they're this financial expert that has podcasts and books and things to do it the exact way they did it. Unfortunately, that's just not the way things work. Or someone that, ate, saltines for 7 years and now they have $1.4 million and they're 22. And it's like, that's great, but that doesn't help. I mean, this is not about numbers. It's about knowing how you're raised and what you want. And so I get turned off by some of those things sometimes where they paid off 50 grand and then they expect that they're somehow an expert because they paid off 50 grand. That doesn't make sense to me. And this is a pointless rant. I'm very sorry that you're part of it, Lynette.
No, I appreciate that. And just, I think we want a balanced approach toward most things in our life. And it is kind of hard to find money advice that's balanced,
What else? Anything else I can answer? I mean, this is a good situation. I'm going to give you 9 out of 10 Peters. Wait, that's on the wine scale. We only do Peters on the wine scale. I'm sorry. 9 out of 10 stars. This has just gone downhill. 9 out of 10 stars for your situation. The life insurance needs fixed. You're going to be an attorney, so you better. Do you have legal paperwork done, Lynette?
We do, but I think we need new.
Yeah.
Where we're moving. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, you'll be able to figure that out. And especially, and let's also say with adopt a child, there's some additional financial considerations there, not only from adoption, but then, there's a lot going on there, right? It's not a one-time event in which the adoption takes place and now we've ripped the Band-Aid off and all the expenses are gone. There's something there. And I mean, if you've ever been around an adopted family, which you probably have, most people have, there can be some additional expenses at the beginning too. So
yeah, right.
Nothing else? We good?
I think that's it. Thanks. This was great. I really appreciate it.
I love to take credit for situations like this of which I had nothing to do with. So I'm glad we could help you out.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it.
All right. Keep listening to the show. And if you want to be on the $1 Million Plan, be on the $1 Million Plan. Go to PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. And when you go there, there'll be something to click on. I'm going to be honest. I haven't looked at that page in a really long time. It's someone else's job to do that. They do a pretty darn good job at it. When you're there, figure it out. I'm a pretty good chance it will not be the first time you've been to the internet. And so if it is, I can't help you. You're not going to be on the show. PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. I love Lynette's situation. Here's the thing. You read her situation at first on an email and you see what's going on. And it's like, I want to go to law school. We want to move. We want to adopt a child. And I'm just thinking, why are you bombing your life with all of these things? They're good things, but you're still bombing your life. But you know what? She's going to come out the other side just okay with that. And by okay, I mean good. So I like it. That's why every situation's different. If you know what I'm saying. All right, that's it for this week's show. I don't have anything witty to say to end it, so I'm just going to hold up this here piggy bank and say goodbye.
This is where I came from. Planet Lovetron, where we drop love bombs, funk missiles, and live in soul shelters. No helter-skelter. The heat don't swelter because everybody stays cool. Left many moons ago to bring the philosophies of my ancestors to another place, God. Picked the third rock, gave me to my earth family, and told me to create, and so I am. Pen in my hand, microphone on the stand. Over vinyl, I command and demand. Magnificence in an instance, I can make you dance, cry, or love. Fly as a dove, released from Everest. The fresh is fresh, and you can call me E.T. Word to John Tesh. Let me bless this harmonic presentation. It's amazing, so amazing. I'm the reason. Salutations, I bring you Lovetron greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Lovetron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it? The tinkling of the keys is an homage to the little star. I sojourn over poetic descriptions of sound and travel to my other world. Out of this world, spaceship on my arm. took me home, fueled by the ink and the megabytes and the hypertext transfer protocol, stronger than the Skynet and the Terminator. I push faders into warp speed, glide with ease, creating a breeze they call a black hole. Event horizon, no rear view concerns. This I adjourn, in beats I burn. This I adjourn, in beats I burn. Salutations, I bring you Lovetron greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Lovetron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it?